right, this offseason, Dolphins let a few very, very good players go. The whole debate was, can we afford to keep them? We can't. But reality is, they were good players. We wish we could have kept them. We didn't. We added a lot of players around this defense. Again, I'm not the biggest Greer fan, but he did a lot of good stuff to fill in some holes and to bring in talent. There's still some vacancies, obviously, with the loss of Wilkins. Van Ginkel, while I like Kamara a lot, Van Ginkel, I mean, people will talk about Van Ginkel being better than Phillips, and all of a sudden he's gone, and it's like no big deal. This guy was a good player for us. Davis wasn't that big a deal. He's gone. So Baker's gone. That's another guy. But this defense is getting a new coordinator, Anthony Weaver from the Ravens. And when you look at Fangio wasn't given the tools necessarily and the time frame to get his defense to where it needs to go. It's a slow developing defense. We have to learn a lot, probably 2 seasons. You really need a good secondary and linebacking group to cover. We didn't have that. He did a very good job for us. But if you were looking at Fangio's scheme, and you're looking at Boyer's scheme and the Flores scheme, it's way out to a whole different side for the most part than that type of scheme. Whereas Weaver is more in line in a lot of ways of Flores and Boyer. And so the talent pool that Weaver's getting is way more conducive. The time frame to get this defense on track is a lot quicker than Fangio. And so this defense is going to come out a little bit slow. Fangio's did. Everybody's defense, everybody's new system does. But it should get online on quick. So I want to go over the top 7. I got an 8th, and I'll tell you why. I could not put them on here. I couldn't. I got 7 guys over the next 2 years. They're going to be critical for this defense and how they play out. You're not going to need all of them. It's not going to happen. But if you can get most of these guys with a system that's more in line with what the talent pool we had and the concepts we have, and Weaver does a good job, this defense can play a major role, and it's going to have to. We need to win this year, and we need to win next year. What's that winning mean? I don't know. At least a playoff win this year, and then conference championship next year. It's got to be. We've had unprecedented nearly amount of picks. And, whatever. There was that crazy breakup with Flores and Ross and Greer and all that else. But no matter how you slice it, we've had enough to have success. By 2025, Greer will be in charge 7 years or 10 years, depending on how you go. So we need at least one playoff win this year and more next year. And I understand the one playoff. Some people are like, well, we should be winning. Look, Greer could have played it where it was an all-in this year, and then we went bankrupt. He kind of stretched it out for a little bit. So, and he's going to be here no matter what. So 2 years is what I'm looking at. So I'm going to get into the 7 players that I think are critical towards this defensive success. And defensive success is critical towards our overall success. Savvy, comprendez-vous. I'm up in the mountains. I'm starting to get settled down. You could skip forward to this. I'm just going to do some announcements here if you want. But I'm going to tell you something personal between you and me. Just take it for what it is. I am an OCD type A personality guy when it comes to certain things. Raised German, and all I do is get this tunnel vision. It's the way I play football. It's the way I do everything. It's just, there's nothing else that matters. It's just a target. But it's blindness. And for a long, long time, I have worked round the clock, nonstop to achieve my goals and do my things. I mean, I've always spent time with my family, but I really have nothing else outside that. And I got real sick 2 years ago, and it sucked. I was always ultra healthy, ultra physical. But now, my wife, in all her brilliance, she got me to do this thing. She told me how to do it, and she told me we have to move to the mountains. Not so many words, but it was like every day, But now that I'm here, guys, I have learned to slow down, to prioritize my life, to spend some time in nature, to go throw the football more with the kids, to take walks with the family, to work out, to stop, to listen. And it's so easy to get caught up in the noise of life and you're killing yourself mentally, emotionally, physically. So I know we're in a hard world. If you're an American, you got to work round the clock, 2-3 jobs to pay for bills and all this other stuff. It's just nonstop, you know. But putting the phone down, we put the phones down. I'm off the computer, and I've been feeling so good. And if you got a chance, just take a walk in the park. If you got a chance, take your family and just go out and have a picnic. The contact with nature has been unbelievable for my health, for everything. And I could feel it growing every day. So just something to think about, guys. I'm going to get the live back next week, doing special stuff for the members. Going to get the live back. I got some good stuff. I guess we had a few weeks ago. Had some great studies. We're going to get back into it. He's got more stuff we're going to break down. I really, really appreciate it. And he taught me something I didn't know, and it was very, very interesting. I'm going to do a podcast on it. I'll give him credit, stuff like that. So the lives will start again next week, and the other thing will start next week, guys. I appreciate all you do. Life moves so fast, as Ferris Bueller says, and you just got to enjoy your time, you know, and I enjoy doing this. I love to talk football, and you guys make it happen. So thank you for the likes, subscribes, comments, views, all that stuff. I want to give you a shout out. Shout out to Ace Bread, my sponsor. Without to do you and my wife, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, so 7 key players. Right into it. 7 key players. First, Phillips. Chubb is gone next year. You look at a contract, $27 million saved pre-June. $2 million dead. 27 in your pocket to sign Waddle, Holland, put in the Tua Kitty. Gone. He's gone. He's gone. The only thing we could hope is maybe he has a mind-blowing comeback and somehow you could trade something for him or whatever. Maybe he plays enough where you can get a compensatory pick. But he's gone. So Phillips has got to come back from that injury. He's got to play well. We've got to depend on the long-term future. It sucks. Barrett's going to be gone too. He's going to do well for us this year, but he's going to be gone next year. But Phillips has got to come back from this injury. He's got to play well. We've got to extend him. We spend so much high pick on him. We've invested him for years. We spent so much on Chubb, who's going to be gone. And so you can't lose both these players. Now, that's the number one, because this is our freak player. And he was heading in a very excellent direction. That injury was disastrous. Damn the Jets turf. So that's number one. Chop is going to let us move off Chubb. And Chop is going, look, guys, we got Kamara, and I like him. He's like a Van Ginkel role. We'll probably keep him for a few years. He'll probably do pretty good. We'll probably let him walk because he'll probably be too expensive. So we're probably going to ride Phillips and Chop unless Kamara plays out of his mind. But Chop is a guy that by next year, you expect him to fill in for Chubb, to make those high-impact plays. Now, there's things going on. He's not the greatest run stopper. He's going to have to work on it. Doesn't mean he will. People are like, well, why are you saying he's going to struggle in the first? Phillips was a bigger prospect, bigger guy, and he struggled against the run. They had to pull him out of rundowns. He admitted it. Go back and watch the film. I told people that, and they said, "Oh, you a hater?" And one guy called me a racist because I like Van Ginkel better that year than Phillips. And it's ridiculous. He was terrible against the run. You've got to have both sides, or it limits you and hurts the defense. Chop is going to struggle a little bit. But next year, if you look at Phillips, he started to rise in year 2. They're very similar in their comps. Very strong in the pass rush, weak in the run stop. They need to grow, which is fine. Look where Phillips was 2 years ago. Last year, where he's heading. So Chop's going to play a major role. Kamara, I think he's going to play a role as a backup guy, a guy who could come in and spell different things for us and help us out and give relief and be, hey, man, you always need that third guy. So, but Chop is the key. Chop and Phil has got to be the future. So then, look, Wilkins is gone. You're going to miss him. People are like, we can't spend that much money on DT. Well, we'll see. DTs are critical. Interior pressure is critical. Stopping a run's critical. Wilkins played like 1,000-something snaps. I think it was 1 or 2. I think he was number 1. most snaps played by a DT. He was critical to our defense last. He was there all the time, every down. So we need to fill that in. Peely, I think I saw stuff that I liked about him. I called him an agile battler. And I think that this guy, when you look at him, he's got a 2-year contract. They spend a lot on him, signing bonus to lock him in, and then they had to cut him to let it go, and then they brought him back in. He's going to be a guy that's going to grow and marinate this season. But next year, if you don't get... I remember I was in college and there was this one guy they were bringing in. And this guy looked like he was totally on Jews, huge. And I remember, it's like a comment. All the people had said it, but I heard the staff talking like, this guy's obviously on Jews and he's got an injury history. It's like, but it's so hard to find guys that big that move quick, It's so hard to find guys that are just not big guys, the big guys that move. And Peely can do it. He's got to build his strength. He's got to build in his ability to play. But this is a fermenting year for him. And next year would be a huge year for him to step up so we don't have to invest necessarily a big pick on DT. Now, you got Tart. People like Tart. Tart's not bad, but Tart came. Had all kind of personal problems with the team last year. He struggles against the run. He had one good year of pass rush, but he was next to Simmons. We'll see. He's a piece. Hand I like to run stop. So Tart to pass rush, hand to run stop. But Peely's a guy who could do both. If you can get a guy like that for what you got Peely for, which is undrafted free agent, that would be brilliant. Benito Jones, listen, Detroit wants to win the Super Bowl. They're aiming for it. If he was a piece of the puzzle, he came cheap, they would have kept him. They didn't. There's a reason. He's a piece for us, but Seal is a guy too he can't have too many snaps. You can't let this guy get dinged and beat up. He's going to be he's 29 now. He's heading 30. You want to get 3 more years out of this guy. So he's a guy who could do both. He's better at the 5 tech, at the 4 tech outside. The farther he gets outside, he's better. I don't like him inside so much except on pass downs. So Peely would be a guy to help us out. Tyndall. We spent a compensatory pick on. Everyone's like, we got compensatory picks next year. We spent one in order to get Jalen, the running back. I can't remember his name right now. Fine, I'd rather do that. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not that good at compensatory picks. Tyndall, I think, was a compensatory pick, if I do believe. And he's now going into his 3rd year, and he hasn't done bubkis. Now, Walker is a nice free agent. He's kind of like a will pass coverage guy. And that's kind of what Tyndall was expected to be. Long's a free agent next year. Walker's a free agent next year. Tyndall will be in the final year of his contract. We need guys that contribute right away. It's like, year 7, you see who can turn out to be good? Yeah, and you got like 6 years of development. That's a waste. Tyndall's got to step up and show something because next year, he can alleviate a lot of problems if we let Walker and Long go and we don't have to necessarily invest too much because you've got Brooks next to him and Brooks would be the guy. Get to Brooks in a second. Cam Smith. I mean, you got Kohu, you got Ramsey, you got Fuller, you got Nick Needham, you got guys, Boner, you got guys that are going to be there. But next year, Ramsey, you might want to keep him, but he's 31 years old, and you get $25 million back, and you lose one. So if Cam Smith can be a starter, you spend a 2nd-round pick on him at a certain point. It's got to happen. If he could take over this year to a certain degree, and they can trust him for next year, you can move off Ramsey. And if you move off Ramsey and move off Chubb, that's $52 million minus 49 million that will help you sign Phillips long-term, help you sign Holland and Waddle. It would be huge for Cam Smith, Tyndall, Peely, and Phillips and Shop because it frees up so much money and we need that going forward. Number 6, he was number 5. Number 6, Jordan Brooks. He's the only linebacker that we signed that's a long-term contract. You got Duke back there. I think Duke's next year. Long will be a free agent. We're not going to bring him back. He's going to want good money. Jordan Brooks is a guy that some people like. Some people are like, okay. Some people really like. If he could be a guy that could be above average and allow him to play that big guy role where you could get Tyndall to eventually be the Will, the small guy role. Then you can bring guys behind him. You can fill this position group out. This linebacking group is key for what we're trying to do. So Jordan Brooks is a big piece. I still need to finish my studies on him. I've seen stuff I like, some stuff I don't, some stuff I agree with people that are saying certain things, some don't. But I got to get the proof. So I got to go back and watch the film and cut the film for you. Kohu saved our season in, was it 22? 22? Yeah, 20. No. Yeah, 22, sorry. Got a little zoned out there. 22, 23 was the Fangio. All right, so 22, he was unbelievable for us, saved us, had an unbelievable season. But then Fangio came in and his problems. And people sometimes say, oh, he sucks. But it wasn't always his fault. It was sometimes the guys around him. But he's not good mid to late clock. I think Weaver could put him in situations that are much better for his skill set, more like Boyer did. Although he was left on an island occasionally, and the mid to late clock was. But I saw him training, and maybe he can get just a little bit more in his conditioning, his speed. He just needs a little bit. He's always a hair behind. So you need lots of cover guys. Kohu was an unbelievable find for us, along with Needham. But this is a guy who's going to be a free agent next year. And if he plays really well, at least you can maybe get compensatory pick if you want to let this guy walk. You got Boner in the background. I like what I saw from Boner. You got him for 2 years, so he'll be here this year. So maybe Kohu walks, and then you get a little something for him, and you got Boner developing. That sounds weird, Boner developing. Anyway, so those are the guys, man. Phillips, Chop, Peely, Tyndall, Cam Smith, Jordan Brooks, and Kohu, because really 25 is going to be the best year for us to hit. It's going to be very tough with this schedule. It's going to be tough because Chubb and Phillips are coming in late. It's going to be tough because you're adding a new defense. You still should get that at least one playoff victory. Get to the playoffs and get that playoff victory. But these guys will free up money, allow you to keep Waddle and sign Tua and Phillips and Holland and whoever else. It would free up so much money because we're in the hole next year. I think next year we're minus $8 million. So my last guy, I want this guy to make it so bad. I don't think I've ever wanted a Dolphin, sort of, to make it this bad. We've got a guy named Storm Duck on the team who's a cornerback, 6'1", 200, doesn't play up to his physicality. I'm wondering, and I just want to say Storm Duck for the rest of my life. Storm Duck makes an interception. Storm Duck. I love Storm Duck. I was right on Storm. I love Storm Duck. That's his name, Storm Duck. So I want Storm Duck to make it. He might be a guy who can come into that safety role. They say he has a little bit of problem. He's got good mirroring skills. He's ambidextrous in the way he can handle his hands and get guys off. He's a little slow on the step, and he's not physical enough, but you can work on that. If this guy wants to make in the NFL, he can start committing more to his body, committing more to his technique, and maybe he can play that safety role for us. I'm very interested. I mean, his name is the primary reason, Storm Duck. But, man, Storm Duck. Oh, that'd be unbelievable. Hall of Famer, Storm Duck. Miami Dolphins, Hall of Famer, Storm Duck. I think I would name somebody Storm Duck. Anyway, guys, so that's it. So these, I think, are the foundational pieces going forward. There's others. I mean, obviously, you want Fuller to do well. He's a 2-year piece, and then he's gone. Obviously, you know about Holland. You want Holland to do well, obviously. You want Ramsey to do well this year. But, man, if you could move off him, that would be unbelievable. But these guys are key for us in that 25 season, and to some degree this season as well, because there's going to be injuries. What if Fuller goes down or Ramsey goes down? So you need Cam Smith to step up. You need Kohu to step up. So anyway, guys, that's it. I'm going to get the Patrick Paul. I got the tape cut most of it. I just got to do the Tehran tape, cut it, and then edit it, and then put the voiceovers. It's just been a little slow, but I'm going to get that for you. I've been doing studies. And I'm actually adding some other stuff. Other guys from previous combines and this combine to show you prototypes, how they match up against Patrick Paul to kind of look at his physical skill set. So I'll get that out in maybe the next podcast or two, guys. I appreciate all you do, really do. I was supposed to say something. Garrett said how to say it. Okay. Be well, go Phins, Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.